Hey, Doober, welcome back to the show. I'm really excited about our guest today because not only is she somebody that is passionate about animals, she's somebody that loves to draw and to paint. She's got a creative mind and somebody that really is just doing so much for animals. So, Dara, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm really excited to have you. I mean, you and I are both in the Tampa Bay area, but tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. So I am the CEO of Friends of Strays. We're a nonprofit shelter here in St. Petersburg. We're actually the first not no-kill animal shelter in St. Petersburg. We came to be about 1978. So we're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary coming up soon in the next couple of years.
Wow,
And
that's hard to fathom, even 50 years. That's amazing.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the celebration that we're going to have. Obviously, 50 years is 1978. Disco party is in the works for us. So,
That'll be super cool. I mean, I honestly cannot tell you any organization besides like the big national ones that I've talked to that has been around that long.
yeah, well, we started out. So our founder was Jean Beaumonti, and she started out in like 1975 or so. She would ride her bike around town and pick up stray cats because at that time there was no help for stray animals in the county. So she would pick up stray cats and sometimes a stray dog and bring them back to her house. And she had a group of volunteers who helped, get them healthier, get them vaccinated, get them spayed and neutered, and then back out on the streets or to be adopted. And so that's how this organization came to be. In the early 80s, they were gifted a building, which we're still using at this time. And so she decided to make it a rescue or a shelter, an actual brick and mortar shelter. And her philosophy was no kill from day one. She wanted to make sure that no animal was needlessly euthanized. And it got to the point where maybe it was a little too much emphasis on that because
Sure.
when I first started working here, we had cats that had been here for 9 years. We had cats that lived in our kitchen in the building. And I personally don't believe that animals need to live in a cage for their whole life. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get people to adopt and love these animals and give them another chance at life. And so that was one of the things when I first started was reduce the number of animals that are in the shelter so that we can give them the best care possible and get them the best possible chances at adoption. So really the first year that I was here, one of our board members fell in love with a cat that was in the shelter, but couldn't adopt him because he was living in a condo and couldn't have more cats. So he wanted to encourage people to come in and adopt. And so for the whole month of April of that year, we did free cat adoptions. And we ended up adopting out, I think it was like 112 cats that month.
Wow.
And then we decided, like, after that, let's not fill up again like
Yeah.
this. We took out a number of the cage banks that were in the rooms and reduced the number of cats that were in each room. We got much better medical staffing, and the animal care teams just like taking such good care of the animals that people come in, they don't feel overwhelmed with the number of animals there, and they can make a faster decision and go home that day with their new love of their life, apparently. So we love that.
Yeah. Dara, where did your story start? Was there a particular animal or did you start volunteering with them? When did this all begin for you?
So I took a kind of non-traditional route to animal welfare. Now that I'm here, I can't imagine doing anything else in my life. But when I was growing up and a young adult, I always loved animals. I mean, from the time I was a small child, I was the one bringing strays home, and there was always a cat or a dog or somebody that needed help that I would help. And so I've always just been very attracted to animals. And my ex-husband and I ended up living out in the country in Indiana, outside of Bloomington, Indiana. Like everybody would dump their animals out there and we just take them in. And I had something stupid like 13 animals at one point because I just couldn't say no. So I was working at Indiana University at the time. I was working for a cybersecurity center. I was the administrative director there, and our executive director stepped down. And I was like, you know what? This is a really good time for me to make a change in my life. So I decided we're going to move to Florida. And I ended up getting a job at University of South Florida, which I did not care for at all. It just wasn't me.
Sure.
My goal was when I came down here to Florida was to be in a leadership position within a nonprofit that touched me. And so while I was looking for other jobs after I moved down here, I came across this position at Francis Dray's, and everybody told me I was crazy. I had to take a huge cut in pay to take this job. They didn't have any benefits. I mean, it was a tiny, tiny little organization that was doing about 500 adoptions a year, and we had like a $500,000 budget. So it was definitely a chance that I took, but also the board took a chance on me because I didn't have an animal welfare background, but I had a lot of other strengths and skills that I could bring to the table. And so they took a chance on me and hired me as the CEO. And we have just gone gangbusters with this organization since then.
What year was this that you came down here and then joined Friends of Stress?
So it was 9 years ago. So this is 2026. So it was 2015 around there. Yeah. Maybe 2016 was when I started. I can't remember. I don't know.
It's all a blur.
It's all a blur,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, I've been here 9 years, and we have gone from 500 adoptions a year to over 2,000 last year.
Wow.
We bought two new buildings. So our main shelter is on 46th Ave North, and we bought two buildings on 47th Ave North. Basically, what we're doing with this is just creating a really innovative approach to housing animals while they're waiting for adoption. So 2 years ago, July 1st, we ended up opening the Cat Box building here, which is our new cat adoption center and has all of our administrative offices over here as well. And what we did with this space was really create an intentional space for cats. So we have rooms. We have some rooms that have cage banks, some rooms that are free roaming. We have two kitten rooms, and we're getting into kitten season here. It just started like
It's all year round in Florida, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much, but it hits pretty well in March, April. So we've got kitten rooms, we've got lots of fosters, and then we have two rooms that are called Airbnb rooms, and they're for cats that I know we're silly. They're for cats that don't necessarily get along well in a shelter. So maybe sometimes we've had stories of cats that their owner has passed away, and like this, it's the transition is very hard for them. So we like to save these spaces for cats that are struggling to be in the shelter situation or shelter environment. They get one-on-one personal attention, and they could be in that room with just themselves, or if they have a bonded brother or sister that they're with, we can put them together. So I love the space here. St. Petersburg is so like very artistic.
Yeah.
We murals all over the place, so we incorporated that into the design of the building as well. We've got a beautiful a mural on the outside, and our donor wall is this gorgeous mural that was designed by my tattoo artist, and it's gorgeous. Like if since you're in Tampa, I really think you should come by and visit us sometime because it truly is a really innovative space for cats. We've got another building that we're working on right now that is going to be called the Milky Bone Doghouse, named after Gene and Kevin Milky, who are local philanthropists. And we're going to do the same kind of thing with the doghouse building. Really intentional spaces. Instead of doing a lot of, rows and rows of kennels, we're doing dog rooms. We will have some kennels in the back because we transfer a lot of animals in from Pinellas County Animal Services to help them with their overpopulation. Some of those dogs tend to have like the ick, I call it the ick when they come to us. So, respiratory issues and things like that. So we did create a space in the back of the building for a little more of like an isolation space. So they can still get adopted, they can still be seen, but they're not part of the larger population at that time. So I'm super excited about that, but we have to raise some money to get there.
Yeah. No, I love how thoughtful and intentional you are about these things. Like you said, I mean, because to me, an animal shelter needs to be a part of the community. And the fact that you're embracing the community, the St. Petersburg community and the artsy side of it is just, it's just a perfect example, right? You want to be an extension of the community. You want to be part. You're looking at this and saying, hey, as we build our next facility, how do we make it feel like it is just a community building?
Absolutely. And that's what we really want. We want to support our community as much as we can. We do vaccination events throughout the year for dogs. We do some pet food pantries about every other month or so, because we get so many donations of pet food and cat toys and dog toys and treats and all that stuff. And we just want the community to have that and be able to keep their pets at home where they belong. Because I know a lot of people are struggling right now with the economy the way it is, and everything that we can do to help people keep their pets at home, we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's really smart. I'm glad you bring that up because it is this safest and best place for these pets is actually in the home, right?
Yes.
My vision is always unless an animal medically or behaviorally needs to be in a facility with professionals, they should be in a foster home. They should be in a forever home. They should not have to be in a cage, in a crate, right? It just creates so much stress, and then stress leads to more medical issues.
Well, and one of the programs that we have is we take a lot of heartworm positive dogs in from other shelters. Nobody in the public is going to adopt a heartworm positive dog knowing that they're going to have thousands of dollars worth of vet bills. And so what we do is we will bring those dogs in and we will treat them. And if the dog is, we hope that the dog is adopted before the treatment is finished, but we cover all the treatments even after they're adopted, because we believe so strongly that that dog is going to heal better in a home, and instead of being, like you said, locked in a crate all day and not able to get out. And of course, when they're going through treatment, you don't want them out running around and doing activity and things like that. But they get so much better care at home and they heal so much better. So that's one of the things that we like to do. Like any way we can help do something medically for an animal while they're still getting adopted, we're going to do it.
I love that. So, Dara, how do you motivate your team? I mean, this is such a compassion-filled industry and negativity, and just some days are good, some days are bad. And as the leader, as the top dog, I mean, how do you motivate your staff?
One of the things that I've always stressed with my team from the day I first started was we have to show the public how much we care about the animals that are here. And so anybody that comes into our organization, we want them treated with the respect that we would give to, a millionaire or somebody, famous or whatever. We want everybody to have a really positive experience when they come in. And that starts with the team. And so you have to have the right team. So one of the things that I do with my managers and directors is really talk to them when they're hiring and make sure that we're getting a good fit instead of getting the right skills. Because like was evident when I got hired, like I didn't have the exact skills, but I had the right fit for this organization. And so that's what I like to really encourage our staff with is, you're here to make a difference in lives, not only in the animals' lives, but in the people's lives. And so we like to share stories after adoption and show the staff, like, because of the work that you did, this dog is in this beautiful home now and being loved and taken good care of. So that's one of the things, I believe in food, and we always like try to have pizza parties and things. And I know that can come off wrong sometimes because, like, some people that at other organizations, they think of that as like trying to buy your happiness, and that's not what we do. Like, we use food as like a gathering opportunity. So we all come together, we talk to each other, we learn more about each other. And that's really one of the things that I love to do is just like in the morning when I come in, it's just walk around and say hi to everybody. And I want to know all of my staff. I want to know what they love, what they don't love, what they do personally. Like, I just want to get to know them. And I think that having the CEO take such a interest
Yeah.
in their lives, I think it's something that not a lot of them have had in their past experience. And so it's really important to me that I feel like they know they can come to me for anything as well. And so that's how I kind of motivate them. And then we were talking before about it's Animal Care Appreciation Week. I think in May is Vet Tech Appreciation Week. So during those weeks, we always try to, give little gifts and make sure they know how much we appreciate them. And just showing that appreciation on a daily basis, I think helps motivate them.
I think it's really important. And I can just tell by your passion and your enthusiasm that that really means a lot to you, that it is a positive place to work because it can be difficult. And sometimes you deal with really heartbreaking situations and you see the downside of, frankly, of humans. And so having that support structure and knowing that they're loved and they're part of a big family there with you at the top and you're approachable makes all the difference in the world.
That's what I've always like thought of as that a leader does. The guy that I worked for at Indiana University, that's how he felt to me. Like I felt like I was part of his family. When he knew that I was looking to move to Florida, he's like, you need to run an organization. Like you should not be like reporting to me. You should be running an organization because you have the skills that I think people will be drawn to. So that meant so much to me. And I've just kind of followed his kind of path of, just being very friendly and familial and just caring about the people that work with me.
I love that.
Thanks.
So, I mean, looking back, I mean, you've probably learned so much along the way, along your journey. If you hopped out a time machine, go back to your younger self, what advice would you give her?
First, I would probably say get divorced earlier than you did.
Okay, I agree with that.
Happily divorced now, but really what I think I would say is just be open to new experiences because when I was in my younger career, I was, working at Indiana University. That was like the only place that was the biggest employer in the county.
Okay.
And like if you didn't work at IU, you were, working at some small job. Go for what you want. Go like I never in a million years thought that I could be in a leadership position in an animal shelter. And there's a lot of imposter syndrome that
Mhm.
goes along when you get into a leadership position for the first time. But there are so many people out there that will help you. And that's one of the things that I found almost immediately when I started working here was there are mentors that want to help you get to where you want to be. And I've had the privilege of having one in particular, very wonderful mentor, Denise Deisler. She used to be she's the former CEO of Jacksonville Humane Society. And the first day I met her, I was like, she is the one that I need to be in contact with. Like she knows everything about this business. And so we became friends and she has helped me so much along the way. I know I'm kind of rambling about the question that you asked, but really what I would say to anybody that's interested in getting into this line of work, find a mentor.
Yeah.
Start off with finding a mentor because you don't have to rebuild the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel when you come in. People have done things like you're wanting to do, and you can follow in their path and stand on their shoulders to be a better person.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. I mean, you look at your background, like you said, you don't have a classic, animal welfare veterinarian background. And yet look at where you are and look at what you're able to do.
Right.
There's so many needs for different types of skills. And as you pointed out, leadership comes in so many different forms and fashions. And it is about that fit with the organization and about the mission and finding that right fit in the leader and then the people that are working with them.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's one of the things that I am always going to encourage my staff. This is not necessarily a job that, like the hourly positions that we have, it's not necessarily a job that is going to be your career, but it's a good stepping stone. And I am never ever going to discourage someone from looking outside of this organization. Like if they have something that's going to make them better, put them in a better position in life, I am always going to encourage that. And then, we will backfill that position with someone that gets it just as well as they did. But I think it's really, really important to promote people from within the organization as well. And we've done that several times, and that it makes my heart feel so good to know that they're actually growing in their career right here with us. So that's the type of leadership that I like is encouraging people not only to be their best here, but to look at the future as well and do what's best for them.
Yeah, I love that. It's that perfect mix, right? Because everybody has internal or intrinsic motivations and what they aspire to be. And this may be a stop along the way.
Yeah.
It is their path. But the fact that you're there to support them and say, listen, it's okay. right?
Mhm.
If this is not your long term, that's fine. We're a stop along the way, and that's fine. We'll help you, you help us. And when it's time for you to move on, we're there to support you and lift you up and do whatever we can to help you to find that path because you're gonna take some lessons with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So, Dara, as we start to come to the end of our recording here, I always like to end with a lightning round with just some fun questions so we can learn a little bit more about you as a person.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, you got to pick one. Do you prefer puppy breath or kitten purrs?
Mm. Oh gosh. Puppy breath.
Puppy breath. Yeah. There's no,
Yeah.
can't go
Definitely.
wrong with puppy breath. Yeah. I love the kitten purrs, but puppy breath is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Are you an early bird or a late night owl?
I am more of a mid-afternoon pigeon.
I love it. Third option.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. So you
Yeah.
kind of even keel on either ends, and then in the afternoons when you shine.
Yes, exactly. I like from 10 to 2, I'm at my best. And
Okay.
so, I schedule meetings around that because I want to be at my best when I meet with people. And, then I can, work from home or do all the other things I need to do.
I like that. What do you like to do to decompress after a hard day?
To be perfectly honest, I like to come home and watch my soap operas.
Okay.
Love
What's wrong with that?
my guilty pleasure. I've been watching Young and the Restless for 30 years and just
Yeah,
started watching General Hospital a couple of years ago. And my best friend and I on Fridays have Friday night chat and we get caught up on all of our soap stories. So
I love that. Yeah, we like a good, reality TV show. That's our kind of vice, where you just live vicariously in somebody else's life.
absolutely.
You let go of the stresses of the day. So,
Yes. Yes.
what's the biggest lesson a shelter animal taught you about leadership?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. A couple of years ago, we got a new dental machine. And it was something, totally brand new. We never had anything like this before. And so we started like, oh, okay, so we can bring these animals in now and we can save their lives without costing us extra money. So we actually transferred a cat over from another shelter in the area. They had called the cat geriatric. He was 8 years old, not really geriatric. I mean, cats can live 16, 20 years. And they were going to euthanize it because it needed a dental. And so we brought this cat to us and we did the dental. And 3 days later, he was adopted into a loving home. And what that taught me about leadership, that cat was that anybody can be in a situation that seems like there's no way out of it, but there usually is if you fight hard enough. And so this cat, like, I feel like it knew what its options were
Yeah.
and, as soon as he came to us, he like blossomed. And when we took care of this minor issue with his teeth, like he was an amazing cat. So what you can do in a leadership area is like look at the individual. Don't just look at, say you're hiring someone and you're just looking at their resume.
Yeah.
That's not going to tell you everything you need to know about that person. So had we just looked at that cat's medical records,
Sure.
geriatric, losing weight, not able to eat, things like that. If we had just looked at that, we might have said, oh, we can't help this cat. But we looked at the whole animal and we looked at the entire situation and we were able to save this cat's life. And somebody loves him right now and he loves them. So that I love that story.
That's a great story. That's a perfect example of how much these animals can teach us. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my last question for you, Dara, what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, that's a really interesting question as well. And I've been thinking about my legacy a lot over the last few months because I did find out recently that I have stage 4 breast cancer. And so I am not the kind of person that's going to just like, well, we got stage 4 breast cancer, I'm going to die. And I am a planner. And so when they told me that, I was like, I got to work on my legacy. So what I want my legacy to be is this organization. I want the dog, and I'm pointing out the window because I can see the doghouse building from my window. I want that building built. I want it functioning and I want us to be in a healthy financial situation that we can sustain operations long term and help this community. That's what I really want is to be known as Friends of Strays, that we make a difference every single day. We believe that love saves lives here and that goes in everything that we do. And so if I can get more of the community to back us and to understand the good work that we're doing, I'll be ready to go whenever, the good Lord takes me.
The perfect way to end this. Dara, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you so much, Chris. And then the offer is open. If you want to come visit us, please do.
You know I will.
Okay. Thank you.